The first presidential debate of 2024 happened yesterday between Joe Biden and former President Trump. And oh my goodness, there's not much to talk about, to be honest, because it went exactly how 99% of the American population, or 99% of anyone watching with more than a brain cell and a half, expected it to go. It went exactly how we all kind of guessed it would, where essentially, and all political views aside, Trump was lying and Biden was freezing, and it was just like two little kids talking about how much money they have, and oh, your relatives this and that, and oh, I can golf better, and it was basically more personal jabs than anything. And let me tell you one thing, call me Sleepy Joe the way I was falling asleep through the entirety of the debate, because oh my, this, not only was the debate exactly what I thought it would be, it was as boring as I thought it would be. And don't get me wrong, it's very interesting because I think the debate was entertaining, but it was also boring in the aspect of nothing of substance was gained from this debate. And I usually in this scenario I would say, oh, I recommend watching the debate on like YouTube or watching the debate on like a news platform, but I don't know if it's worth your time because nothing really changed except I guess some people who were leaning one direction, their choices are probably solidified now, if you know what I'm talking about. But oh man, Joe Biden made like my old Alienware computer and he froze up real bad. And Donald Trump made like a 7-year-old me and he kept on lying so much. Again, it's just exactly what we expected. And I know I keep saying the same things over and over, but like, are you serious? And do keep in mind, I tend to steer clear of politics. I tend to take my channel, this is politics over here. I tend to go, I want to stay away from politics because it is a very touchy subject. It's very risky to talk about. And again, I don't want to hear your opinions. I'm sure you don't want to hear mine, but as an American collective, as the oil drinking, fire spitting, freedom drinking brothers we are, I don't think we're in a very good spot right now with our options. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think that, and this is with most elections, I think both options are just absolutely awful. And I'm not attacking the parties. I'm not attacking the left or right. I'm not attacking anything. I just think that the options we are given and the predicament we're in is just, it's just rough. So I know I've said a few seconds ago that the debate was boring. It was also somehow entertaining while it was also boring, and it was exactly what we expected it to be. I also found it pretty funny because I think the funniest part of these presidential debates, especially when there's either Donald Trump or Joe Biden involved, is or like both at the same time. It is the personal jabs, because the personal jabs will always get to me. And the main like arc of this personal jab subsection of the debate was, wait for it, golfing. In a presidential debate where the decision of the American people is up for grabs, they talk about golfing. And no, they don't mention the word golf. They don't say like, oh yeah, I golf, occasionally. They go on for like 5 to 8 minutes talking about golfing. President Biden's like, yeah, my handicap's a 6. And then Joe Biden's like, well, I think that I can golf a pretty good amount. It's absolutely just ridiculous. And then, you have the classic Trump move where every time Sleepy Joe freezes, he just gives a 1,000-yard stare at one of the reporters, just like, he just does that. And then and then Donald Trump's over here looking at him like, see this fool? Well, who would have thought? Who would have thunk? And I'm going to be completely honest here. The amount of like humor I got from watching this debate, not only because it was kind of funny, but also because like, wow, we're screwed. We're yikes. It outshined the fact that this debate was actually, I think, rather boring. And there's not much else to it. As I said earlier, there was hardly anything of substance that actually happened in this debate, except for after, because I was watching the debate on Discord live with my friends, and we were watching on CNN. And after, a bunch of these other individuals were talking about the debate, and one guy said something pretty interesting. He talked about how he loved Joe Biden, he worked for Joe Biden, and he said that it didn't look very good for him. And I'm gonna put it out right now. It didn't look good for either parties. However, it especially didn't look good for Biden because of his age and how much it is really showing here. And again, I'm just going to put this out here. I don't care who you support. I don't care who you're voting for. I'm just speaking my opinion, speaking my truth, brother. Because as an American citizen, I bleed oil and I breathe freedom. You know how it is, brother. But again, Joe Biden's age is really starting to show here. And again, I don't know. I really, really wish it was better for us Americans, because it hasn't been good in a while, in a few years, and it sucks. And then I remember one time in the debate where Trump was like, or no, sorry, Biden was like, oh, and this guy over here, this orange peel hair looking ass over here is a convicted felon, 34 counts of a convicted felon. I've never met the guy. And then Donald Trump, he starts to say like, oh, well, your son is a convicted felon, your son, and then it just goes back and forth like, oh, you're a convicted felon, well, your son's a convicted felon, your son's a crack addict. And then Joe Biden's over here just like, and then Donald Trump's just like, well, I think the Chinese, and I think Putin, and I think Ukraine, Russia, billions and billions of dollars. It's just brain rot. That's what it is. It is old people brain rot. Old people American politics brain rot. And it's over. It's so over. It has never been more over than it is now. And oh man, we need a hero. I need a hero. You know that song? We need that right now. As the American people, we need a savior. You know who we need? Never mind, you guys aren't ready for that conversation yet. We need a miracle. We need something that can return us from this absolute monstrosity of a decision that us Americans have to make. And you guys already know my answer, but again, you're not ready for that conversation yet. So by the time November 4th rolls around, I just, I'm going to be honest with you, I might just sleep in. I might just stay in bed the whole day. I might just, do the fetus position. I might just be like, oh man, this sucks. Oh man, this sucks. Oh, my legs are sore. But yeah, in the meantime, keep up to date with these things, because not only is it pretty, interesting, it's also pretty useful and it's pretty funny. And when it's not entertaining, that usually means that, it's getting to that point where it's diminishing returns and you just know what's going to happen, as in this presidential debate. Like, I don't think this presidential debate needs to happen, but for people who really, really strongly oppose Biden, I think that their votes were just solidified, because Joe Biden, again, did not look very good on this speech. And it does not take a right-wing extremist to see that. It doesn't take someone who is a diehard Trump fan to see that Joe Biden is not looking too good. But again, I'm not spewing any of my political opinions, right? You have your own political opinions, all right? And I will see you guys in the next video. Man, that was funny. Stay safe. That was funny? No, it wasn't. Sorry, it was cringe. Sorry, it wasn't funny. It was cringe.